Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.
Hello out there and welcome to Season 1. It is the debut of the Bmore Baseball podcast with Mike Bordick. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's, of course, the Orioles Hall of Famer, the 14-year MLB veteran Mike Bordick. Today, Bordy, in episode number 1, we're going to be joined by, Adam Jones. Mike and I will also talk about the additions and subtractions that the Orioles have made during the offseason, plus a look around the American League East. And we have a new segment called What's Up, Doc, featuring former Orioles team doctor Michael Jacobs. We'll get into some insight on Felix Bautista and the arm injury, also with Kyle Bradish and their situation. While this is a new podcast, different in some ways from the Adam Jones podcast, but with still a lot of big-time guests coming your way, folks. You can now find us on social media. We're all over the place, Bordy, at the Bmore Ball Pod. The Bmore Ball Pod is easy to remember. It's where you automatically, if you follow us, qualify for a Lido Pizza $50 gift card just for following us on YouTube, X, Facebook, or Instagram. Well, our first guest really needs no intro, but he'll get one anyway. He's a former co-host of this podcast. Is there anyone else we would rather have on our first episode than Adam Jones, now an ex-podcaster and current Orioles employee down in Sarasota? AJ, how you doing? It was great working with you. Appreciate you coming to my house and telling me like a man that it was all over, and that was on the page.
Hey, I'm a corporate man now. I'm a corporate man. And no, I mean, it was a blast working with you for the last, we did 100 episodes. It was just a blast. Obviously, getting to know each other, having to talk a lot. I mean, you got to talk to Jerry a lot. I didn't realize I'm going to talk to you this much. But it was a blessing because, again, I know things you don't know, you know things I don't know, and it was the perfect match of oil and vinegar. And we just had we always had good conversations. So it was always a fun working with you.
All right. Can you put any clarity on your role? Because honestly, I never understood what Brady Anderson's job was with the club as an assistant to Dan Duquette back in the day.
Well, Brady's role was the vice president of something. Now, I don't know what that something was, but he was the vice president of something.
The weight room.
You can create roles, which again, you've seen these roles created. You never heard of 9 hidden coaches, so you've seen roles created. Nowadays you got quality control, but me, I'll be assistant to Mike Elias and the community ambassador, meaning I'll be working with Mike hand in hand on obviously he's a big scouting guy, so he's gonna try and pick my brain. I'm gonna pick his brain. I want to learn how he thinks and what kind of talent evaluator he is, which player is he looking for, so that I can hopefully keen and get a good sense of that kind of player. And then with the community side, that speaks for itself. There's going to be a lot of good initiatives coming forward, and I just want to be a part of it and move it forward, going forward. And just again, like I said, when I signed this, I want to be a resource to not only the baseball side of it, but to Baltimore's community.
Yeah, incredible value, I think, on both sides of it, Adam. And obviously, thanks for being our first guest on the Bmore Baseball podcast. But what I'm interested in is this current day team. And now you're going to be able to communicate with them, actually see them on the field. You're down there in uniform right now. What are your thoughts about spring training? And I guess in some ways, your expertise might be the outfield, this crowded Oriole outfield.
Well, yeah, I mean, crowded is always a good problem. I mean, unfortunately, there's always things that go to the hay side and you need extra guys. So depth is never a bad thing. With me, mainly, it's just, trying to blend in, fit in with the guys. I know that's weird to say, but Bordy, you attest to that it's not your clubhouse anymore. I went in there and it's Mullins' clubhouse. It's not my clubhouse. He has my seat. He has somebody got my parking spot too. That's what got me real mad. At least it's a Raptor in it. I don't know whose Raptor it is, but somebody got my parking spot. Like things like that, really get me going. But I spoke with O'Neill, I spoke with Loriano, and guys, hey, welcome to Baltimore. It's a different city, it's a different thing, and they're both like, hey, I love this camp. I love how Hyde is handling, taking care of camp, taking care of guys. Again, I speak for the outfielders. They really, really are enjoying themselves in camp so far. And the number one thing is to stay healthy. It's obviously going to be some competition for at bats, which is always good. That's healthy. But the number one thing is to stay healthy and be on the team going north. And I just want to be able, again, to help anybody I can, anywhere I can. If it's going on backfield, getting up at 7 in the morning, if it's going out sunballs, like whatever these guys need. Bordy, you was that. You're on the backfields with JJ Scopey, Manny. Like those guys aren't good just because they're good. They were good because they worked when no one was watching. So that's what I want to be for these guys.
Adam, how did this whole process, reuniting with the Orioles and being a member of the front office, come together? How long was it in the making? And is the goal to be an executive at the Major League Baseball level one day?
Well, I mean, you know how long it took. You just got to ask the dang question.
Of course.
But no, obviously it's been in the works for a couple of years now. I think it was a mutual interest. I think it was the perfect marriage. Obviously things take time. You have a whole new regime. And then when the interest started to grow, you got a whole new ownership change. So it's like, okay, we got to put this on a halt. And we have, we got a whole new ownership change and a lot of things and moving pieces. So with me, again, it's the number one thing is stay patient. That's what you have to do. If I want to be in this game, I think I told them I want to be the Black Brooks Robinson in the organization and just be around this organization to my dying day. I mean, I think that I can, this generation, I can grow old with this generation, and I think I can teach this young generation the core values and same thing. So obviously just want to get my feet wet within the organization and learn and just learn. That's the number one thing is I have to learn the way that they do their business. And then, try and just see where I fit in and help where I can help. Obviously, upward mobility is always a thing. Who doesn't want to be a manager? Who doesn't want to be this or that? Everybody has high aspirations. As you know, I have young kids, so I like to travel and like to still be with them. But if something arises that is too good to be true, as you know, can't turn it down.
More of the Bmore Baseball podcast coming right up. At Pappas Restaurants, we've been serving up Maryland's best crab cakes for over 5 decades, and now we make it easier than ever to get your favorites. With 4 restaurants and sports bar locations across Harford County, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County, you can stop in for fresh seafood, ice-cold drinks, and wall-to-wall TVs. But if you can't make it in, don't worry. We'll bring Pappas to you. Our new state-of-the-art shipping and commissary location on Bel Air Road in Nottingham means you can pick up fresh-made meals or have our famous crab cakes and seafood shipped anywhere in the country. Dine in, pick up, or ship nationwide. However you Pappas, we've got you covered. Order now at pappascrabcakes.com. The Be More Baseball podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week. Only at Relief Shop. It's saving season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas for spring and summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone, exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. And now, back to the Be More Baseball podcast.
Yeah, I think, your involvement with the Orioles is one thing, and to kind of wear them on your chest as you go throughout the community, I think it's going to be even more impactful. You've already done that. You did that in your career without even, it was effortless for you. And I think that's where you're going to have the most impact. What are you looking forward to in getting involved with this Baltimore community again?
It's really just what you said. It's now I got the time, as a player, I got an initiative. I can't do nothing at 10 o'clock. I got to get my rest. So I would do something from 12 to 1, but I got to I'm looking for the way to get the heck out. This way, it's like, hey, I got plenty of time. I got time to talk. I got time to hang out with you. I got time to do anything. Golf, mainly. Like I want all the golf, all the sponsors, golf strips. I'm on all of those. But it's getting back in the community and being the voice that I had as a player, but now I can, bring it back alive because I have the time. And, when I'm able to sit down with somebody for 2 hours, I'm able to now sit down and have dinner with people, have lunches with people. It's a game changer opposed to, hey, I got 15 minutes. You better make it quick. And while you're still talking to me, my mind is on the pitcher that night. Yeah. So now I can just be like, hey, what is needed in this community, what is needed in this initiative, and I can give my all to it.
Let me ask you this, because it can't be a coincidence that you come back to the nest and then all of a sudden Nick Markakis and J.J. Hardy and Matt Wieters show up in Sarasota.
I mean, it's not a coincidence, no, but it's just shows the movement of where we're going to go. Obviously, we have a fantastic Hall of Fame. We have fantastic history. We have great alumni, and we want to bring them back, and especially the guys that played in the social media era. You know, unfortunately, there's guys that didn't play when there was cell phones that, and you know, unfortunately, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
looking at me, man.
I'm sorry, Bordick. No, but just trying to bring back the good guys. That's my number one initiative, is to bring back the good guys. Britton, Markakis, obviously B-Rob is here, JJ Hardy, and there's other guys. You got Bud Norris, Jim Johnson. I mean, the list, Chris Tillman. The list goes on of guys that uh, I've thrown out there that I want to be around because these guys have won. And I said this to Freddie Tyler. You know Freddie Tyler well, and I said having us around can possibly and hopefully and just help maybe this young team get over the hump that we didn't get over. I didn't get over. We didn't get past the ALCS. This young team has got back-to-back playoff appearances. They're knocking on the cusp of doing something special. Maybe we can be around it like, hey, manufacture this, do this. I don't know. But that's why I said maybe we can be a resource to help this team just one more level. We don't know, but having good guys around who aren't egotistical guys. Like I got an ego away from the game, but I want to win. And all the guys that are back around, these guys fight tooth and nail just to win. And it's good to have them around.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that speaks for each generation. I know the last time the Orioles got to hoist the trophy back in 1983, and then there was a drought. I know in the 90s, that's all we wanted to do was have a parade, right? And then the next generation just wanted a parade for the Baltimore fans and through the city. Your generation, I had the fortunate option or ability to cover you guys when I was working for Masson, and I got to see that. Like every 2 years, you guys were there. You won the East. You were competing. It was unbelievable to see that kind of winning atmosphere again. And I think it's great that you guys are getting together and trying to help push this team forward and give them a parade, man. Get them back into the postseason again. These young guys are learning how to win. You know, they've got there just a little bit more, man, to get them over that hump. And I think it's awesome to have winning players around them, you know, to show them really what it takes.
Very true. I was talking to somebody and I was like, all right, Gunnar Henderson gets to work with JJ Hardy. Who's better? That's whatever. Gunner's not even done with his career yet. But obviously Gunner's a superior offensive guy. He struggled a little bit with some little minor defensive things. You get to work with JJ, who is sure-handed as hell, who got to work with Bordick, who we set the major league record for errorless games. Like, you see the lineage of passing on. I got to learn from Brady. I got to learn from when Mike Devereaux would come around. I got to learn from him. Now I get to pass this knowledge to the next guy. Like, we have a good lineage of we're building this now. Catchers, you're going from Wieters to Rutschman. Center fielders, I mean, you can keep going. You go back 25 years, go back 50, 70 years with the guy that got 8. Don't make me draw my name. Come on.
Blair and Bunbury, baby.
There you say you go Blair, Bunbury. Then you got tons of guys in between that with Devereaux, Brady. Then you got Corey Patterson, myself, Mullins. Like, we have lineage, and in shortstop we have a great lineage too. Go from Bordick, gosh, you got to go from the immortal Cal. Then you go to Bordick. Then go to Tejada. Then we had Caesar is tourist. He was sure-handed. And then you get a JJ Hardy. Then you get a Gunnar Henderson. Like, we've been able to have staples at these main positions, and it's great to just give back just a little nugget that we can help them with. I had that. Guys gave me those.
Does this time of year, whether you're there as an executive, a guest coach, just being around the guys, does it revitalize you, even though you've been out of the game playing for several years now?
No, sitting on them fields, shagging like hell, hitting fungos back in. My feet hurt so damn bad. Like, there's nothing. No, running in bases. As soon as they get off the field, I'm off the field too. I mean, and I remember Kirby would tell me, he's like, man, my feet hurt. I'm like, man, whatever, man. And I texted him last year, first day, I was like, my feet hurt so bad. And it's 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 part of the game. And like I said, I had my run. I can't go out and compete with these guys. These guys, I could probably hit. I talked to Tony Olivo today. I could probably still hit, but I can't run. There ain't no first to thirds, ain't no second to homes. It is home to the bench. That's all I got.
Yeah. I'm the same way, man. Listen, I have my time. I do when I could run around that field, get my spikes in the dirt. That bridge, boy, I'm way past that one, man. That's long gone. I love watching these young guys, though. And when I watch them work, I'm just like beside myself. There is no way I work that hard. But you got to, man, to stay at the highest level and see what they do and the new things they're learning to stay healthy and on the field is really impressive to me.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you where you think the Orioles stand in the AL East. Are they still behind the clean-shaven Yankees? And can you finally believe they changed their antiquated policy there in the Bronx?
Well, I mean, I seen a quote from George Steinbrenner and
not George. He's not around.
No, it was a quote from George Steinbrenner. He said,
I know
it was somebody said, hey, that was Lou Piniella said, hey, I make more money than Jesus Christ. And George Steinbrenner said, well, go walk your ass across that water. We'll see if you Jesus Christ. And guess what? Lou Piniella didn't do it, and he had to shave. So the rules are the rules. Somebody was like, "Oh man, look at if you own something, you can do what you want. If you own a house, you can remodel it. You can do what you want when you own something. And this is a private entity. So the Yankees had the rules. The Orioles had the rules where you had to be clean shaved. You couldn't even, you had to be a goatee. You couldn't have none of this. The Braves have a minor league rule of clean shaven. When I was with the Mariners, we had pants. You couldn't wear your pants over your shoes rules. These are different rules. Again, are they eyewash? Most of them are. But you can do what you want when you own the damn team. So, if you want your guys to look a certain way, you do. I know Jeter had some fun with some different AI beards and stuff like that. And it would look real weird to see Derek Jeter with a beard or see A-Rod with a beard. I see CC with a beard now, but to see him in the uniform with a beard would have been just weird just because that's what you're used to. But hey, the change is different. And, I think they're going to be clean. I just think that all the Latin barbers in Washington Heights is going to be lined up at Yankee Stadium. Guys going to be edged clean. They're going to be looking spiffy. I'm going to be really excited. You had a second part of that question.
Yeah. Where the Orioles stand in the AL East with all the additions and subtractions.
And where I think the Orioles stand in the East, I think they still stand right at the top. Obviously, it's 162 games, and what the Yankees did with Fried, they didn't get Soto. They were able to get Fried and Bellinger, which are two hell of players. Let's be honest with yourselves, two hell of players. But it's still a long season. Expectations in the Bronx. Some people can handle it, some people can't. Let's see if their new free agents can handle it. Obviously, they're incredibly talented players who have been on the biggest stages. And I expect them to do what the back of their baseball card says. But I think the Orioles are still annoying the hell out of everybody. They don't obviously there's the thing of they didn't get the ace. Can we get an ace? When you eat up innings and you get to the big man, that's the name of the game. And again, there's different models of it. Like you got Cleveland last year, you got Detroit. Detroit's a tough one. Obviously, you got Skubal who won the Cy Young. But you got teams that don't have necessarily aces that you categorize that are competing, and that's because the guys are putting up runs, playing good defense, which is the number one thing. I didn't have an ace, but I know one thing we did. We set the major league record for least errors and fielding percentage. That's what we needed to do in order to be where we're at, though. So, you just have to take it upon yourself to see this is maybe one of our weaknesses. Well, we need to strengthen up this weakness by having a fantastic defense. That's what we had. That's what this team has right now. And that's just the main thing that I think is going to be the number one factor. It's going to be the pitching. I think the offense is going to be fine. They're going to go ups and downs like every other offense in baseball. But I think the pitching and defense that's the number one thing. And that's most important to me.
No, absolutely. I think you talk about JJ Hardy being down there. If Gunnar just improves a little bit, solidify the backbone of this team, I think they're going to be strong. I worry. I have some question marks though. Is Adley going to be able to run out there and strengthen that backbone as well? Jackson Holiday at second base, young second baseman. So there are a few question marks, but I totally agree with you. I think they've strengthened themselves. I think their youth is incredibly valuable. Getting Westberg back now, one of the more clutch players in the game. And I just think all these young guys together, man, when you get young players together, they just have blinders on. They just playing, man. It's so much fun to watch these guys go about their business. And in my opinion, health is going to be wealth in the American League East. Yankees got some older players. Red Sox got some questionable guys, I just think the Orioles are in a better place right now to all of a sudden get to the trade deadline and make a nice push if they need to. Who knows, even if they need to.
Very true.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, Adam, is the left field being moved in. I don't know if you've gotten reaction from the players. Your thoughts on that decision?
I mean, moving in is always a good thing for you got guys like
unless you're a pitcher, right?
You signed Tyler O'Neill, who's a big hairy guy. He's not tall, but that man's built. The man is built, and he's going to want to lift and separate. And look, I look back at a lot of home runs that I hit, and there's some balls that I've pulled right off the end of the bat, and they just little wall scrapers that would have just been routine then. And hey, I take what I can get. Don't shoot the messenger. But I think with the wall coming in, I think it's going to definitely benefit the guys, the offensive guys. The thing is though, when they moved the wall back initially, it helped the pitchers initially. Then the team got better, and then it ended up hurting us because you hit balls off the wall in the playoffs. That's not the reason why you lose. It's not the reason why you lose. But I think by moving the when your team is better now, I think it's okay. All right, we're a little bit better equipped to keep the ball in the park. From 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, ball was leaving the park. I mean, jet streamed out the ballpark. And moving the wall back, it kept the ball in the park. It made these guys actually get a little more confidence. Really, in my eye, I can throw my curveball if they hit it. Okay, my left fielder can go. Hayes was back there running balls down. Now you got Calger. So I think that it gave them confidence to where, okay, I can pitch with these elements. Bring it in. It's okay. I can pitch with these elements. And I think by moving it back, I think probably gave them some confidence that they can pitch and not be afraid of some loud contact. Although it's just that there's loud in the big leagues.
A lot of it.
Fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch for sure. It's been great having you on the other side of this podcast. We appreciate the time. You know how it works from both ends. And you're relieved to know that I won't be calling you 5 times a week going forward.
Yeah, I got that, Adam. I'm picking that slack up, man. Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks a lot.
He calls a lot. Oh, he's up. He's always up. He's betting on like horses in Thailand. He's up. He don't care.
It's tennis in Dubai. Get it straight. It's called insomnia too. We'll catch you soon, and I'll see you in Sarasota. Save your wallet.
Will do.
All
Thanks,
right.
Adam. Thanks, man.
There goes the former co-host of this podcast, Adam Jones, joining us here, Bordy, and it was great catching up with him. He's going to do great things with the Birds, so that'll be fun to watch.
It sure is. I mean, you saw it for about 4 years. You saw it covering him as a player. He's just got an incredible, infectious personality, and to be around, I think these young players is going to help loosen them up. He's got obviously an incredible resume, but like we talked about, I'm excited about his community involvement. Listen, Baltimore needs faces like Adam Jones to go out, just superstars in the community and really make a changing impact. And I think the Orioles are looking to do that. And what a man to lead the way like Adam Jones.
A very savvy move by the Orioles, and kudos to them for doing that.
Love the culture of Charm City? The Baltimore Chamber Orchestra, not the symphony, is performing 2 extraordinary concerts at Goucher College on Sunday, March 9th and Sunday, May 11th. Picture it. The strings strike the first chord like a leadoff hitter, setting the concert's tone, followed by colorful winds, powerful brass, and explosive percussion, like a crowd roaring to their feet during a home run. Discover Baltimore's second orchestra and experience the unforgettable magic of classically captivating live music. Get your tickets now at thebco.org.
Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. At Heller Coates, we ensure peace of mind. Our mission, to educate, design, and protect, ensuring that you get the right insurance at the right price. Whether it's home and auto, life, disability, long-term care, or employee benefits, our deep understanding of personal and business life cycles allows us to tailor solutions just for you. We specialize in strategic insurance planning for those who value protection. Ready to take the next step? Get in touch for no obligation 360 policy review at insurance@hellercoates.com.
All right. Speaking of the Orioles, it's For the Birds, soon to be sponsored by the Maryland Lottery. Mike, let's get into it. And I wanted to ask you, first off, how early did you used to get down to spring training? What was your typical routine for getting down to spring training? And did it change as you became a veteran?
Not really, to be honest with you. I have a different approach in spring training, and I wanted to get into the grind of the season as soon as I could. So I tried to get down there as early as I could. I was always one of the first guys. Like when the pitchers reported, I was typically with them for a couple reasons. I was in New England most of the time, and just to kind of climatize myself, get some spikes in the dirt. Your body goes through so many changes when you're trapped indoors. You know, even though you work hard all winter, when you go down to spring training and all of a sudden you're moving on the dirt, your muscles take a little while to adapt again, and then adapt again even when games start, because your adrenaline kicks up again. So trying to get that adrenaline kicked up, that grind atmosphere, you hear it all the time in baseball. Yeah, well, it's the grind of the season. Well, the sooner you can get there, in my opinion, it was setting your mental bar up as high as you could, so you're not fluctuating too much. You know, with the highs and lows of the season, you got your work habits established, and then you just build off of them the rest of the way. So I was good to go right from Jump Street in spring training. And I even told my managers, I said, I'd like to play, and, you know, might be a couple innings early on, but just to start playing and seeing balls and action, just to get in game speed.
Did you want to take road trips too? Were you that anxious to get on a bus and play?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't mind. You know, down in Fort Lauderdale, when we first came over, that was, my gosh, that wore you down, though, that spring training. Yeah, because you had to travel everywhere. So, you know, you're a team player then, because you don't want everybody to have to go on different road trips. So you suck it up and you make your road trip, but you try to get in the best work as you possibly can, you know, when you stay back.
Well, I did want to ask you about getting ready, because it seems like the position players nowadays, Bordy, they get into spring training, they throw the ball around, hit in the cage for a few days, and then the games begin. Yeah. It seems like there's no time in between.
There isn't, Jerry. And, you know, that started, I think, back in my generation, where there were no off days. There was no off season. You used the off season to build your strength back, to try to get stronger, faster, better than you were the year before. And I think now it is just constant trying to get better. I think the weight training has evolved. I think nutrition has evolved incredibly, and guys know how to take care of themselves. Back when I played, guys were living on Bud Light in Copenhagen. They don't do that anymore. You know, they're eating better. They're getting their sleep. They understand the importance of being a modern day athlete. And I think it's so exciting to watch these guys do their thing. So, and it is 365, man. You might take a mental break a little bit, but man, you're right in there trying to make your body as good as it can be.
We just heard from Adam about his thoughts on the additions and subtractions with this team during the offseason. How do you view this club from where they stand, you know, inside the AL East, based on what the Yankees and Red Sox seem to do? I have them right there with the Yankees and Red Sox, maybe right behind them, but right there with them, ahead of Toronto and Tampa for sure. Yeah,
I think on paper, I like where the Orioles are. And I know in the offseason, and I was probably one of the first ones to say, what are we doing, man? Are we going to be aggressive here? Because I think they missed an opportunity at the trade deadline, you know, last year. And I think we were expecting a little bit more. But one thing they did that I think is going to hold incredible value all season long, the depth that they created is really impressive. I'm talking guys with former major league experience that are going to probably be in AAA. If somebody in the major leagues goes down, just plug and play, baby. And I think a lot of great teams now have to structure themselves that way, or they're going to be in trouble. So, you know, I think the Orioles are in a really good position in that regard.
All right, let's move beyond Baltimore. This is our national and sometimes international perspective. It's all brought to you by our friends over at Relief Medical Marijuana Dispensary, where they go above and beyond to help you, the patient. Thanks to Connor Welton and the folks at Relief for all their support since day one. Now, I don't think I've seen a team capture a World Series and then go out and load up in the offseason like the Los Angeles Dodgers have, to no end. Is there a competitive balance issue in Major League Baseball based on what we've seen the Dodgers? Even the Yankees were crying about it, Bordy.
Yeah, that's when you know there's a problem in baseball, when the Yankees are complaining. I witnessed them do that for about 20 years, maybe even longer, just kind of skew that competitive balance. The Dodgers haven't done anything illegal, and I think that's kind of the point. But it does make, every time big contracts are out there, it makes us all kind of look at it. Is it time for a salary cap in baseball? And there may be some form and fashion of it. The question is, there's such a discrepancy in owners, like what they want out of Major League Baseball. And that's the problem. Half the teams are just satisfied with the status quo. Give me my luxury tax money that keeps me going competitively, I guess. And I think a salary cap might do that as well. I know teams have to show what they're putting forward to keep teams competitive, but this is the big argument. And what do you do with licensing money? I think a lot of times cap issues don't go with the revenues that leagues are making correctly. So there are a lot of questions there, but it does seem a tad unfair. But hey, the Orioles could defer a lot of money as well, and they have in the past to help kind of stabilize their overall revenue. But it's a long-term game, man, and a lot of right minds have to come together if they want to truly fix this. Right now it seems like the luxury tax is still the Dodgers don't care about it. They're making so much money because they have a whole other market in Japan.
It's the price of doing business, it seems, for them. And as a former player, I think you realize the current players aren't going to go for a salary cap in any fashion.
Ain't no way. There is no way.
But I will say this about money. It doesn't guarantee you a World Series, but it guarantees you pretty much you're going to be in contention come September and October.
It helps, but I will say that there's a lot to the chemistry too, because I've seen great Yankee teams be worse teams in the American League East, man, when they tried to put together a bunch of different personalities. And there are arguments about that, that chemistry kind of just a lot of different egos going at it. So a lot of times it comes down to the manager. Can a great manager like Joe Torre keep the Yankees together? He did. Can a manager like Tony La Russa keep those A's personalities together? He did. So that's kind of what it comes down to when you have all those big, deep wallets, bad players walking in that make a lot more than any other, manager or coach on the team. How do you balance this out and get every guy to kind of pull the same way?
All right, let's jump around quickly. The AL East, there's two teams I want to direct questions to you about. Let's first talk about the Red Sox again. And Rafael Devers, a guy signed for 10 years, over $330 million. Let's face it, defensively, he's been horrendous, yet he doesn't want to be a DH. How's this going to shake out in Beantown?
Yeah, this is a disgruntled employee right now. The signing of Alex Bregman made the Red Sox markedly better. If Alex Bregman plays third base for the Red Sox, I'm worrying about them. They've made some really good additions. I think Bregman is a proven pro, man, a winner at the highest level. Great glove, complete opposite of what Devers is. He's a casualty over there at third base, one of the worst third basemen in the game. He can hit, and he got paid to hit. Yes. So he's going to have to make those adjustments and be a team player, because the last thing the Red Sox want is somebody that's going to be that disgruntled to bring that clubhouse down. They've got too many good players right now.
All right, I did want to ask you also about one of your former teams, the Blue Jays. I'm not sure what their plan is. It seems like Vladimir Guerrero's in a lame duck situation, and they just spent a lot of money to bring in Anthony Santander from the Orioles.
Yeah, the Blue Jays have been trying for years. They have been wanting to spend money for years now. They were the first team to go after Ohtani, and they got outbid by the Dodgers. They may have even matched the money. They went after Soto as well. They're aggressive to try to make a better team, and I think they may have overspent to get Anthony Santander. I hope nothing but the best for Anthony. I love him as a player. I don't know that he's worth that much. I don't know that he's that much of a clutch hitter. He's a great switch hitter. He does have power, and I think he can book 30. I don't know if he's going to hit 40 again in his career. The average seems to be going down a little bit, and he doesn't get on base at all. He's 300 on base last year. So let's go. The Blue Jays, I'm not sure, man. All their pitchers are older as well. This is the thing, man. When you look at these teams, you better look at health. Look at how devastated teams were last year with injury. And if you have older pitchers, you better be crossing your fingers and hope you got some backups in the minor leagues.
Yeah, best of luck to Anthony, Tony Tater, Santander, but it could be a long season north of the border. But they still have hockey. All right, let's turn our attention to our newest segment. It's called What's Up, Doc, and it features the former Orioles team doctor, Dr. Michael Jacobs. What's Up, Doc is sponsored by the Baltimore Chamber Orchestra. Here at Baltimore's second orchestra perform at 3 p.m. on Sunday, March the 9th, and then again Sunday, May 11th, all at Goucher College. Visit bco.org. That's bco.org to buy your tickets and learn more. Dr. Michael Jacobs will join us each week to present the medical angle. And welcome, Doc. First, tell everyone out there about your experience and history with the Orioles.
Well, thanks for having me, and it's great to work with Mike. It's kind of unusual. Back in '93, Mr. Angelos called me out of the blue, and I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know he owned the Orioles, and asked me if I'd go down and check out Rafi Palmeiro. The fantastic gentleman, Dr. Charles Silberstein, had done it forever and decided to retire. And I talked to Chick, and he told me I should do it because I really had never even thought about it. So I went down, met Rafi, and we started a relationship. And we can talk about that on another show. But for the last 30 years, I've been either the head doc or the assistant head doc, and it's been a wonderful experience from the great years of Mike's teams to some of the difficult years to the Mike Elias's revamping, and it's been a fantastic experience. And now that we all get older after 30 years, it's time to do something else.
Well, we welcome you. We love having you. Let's address the two biggest offseason questions, at least for me, when it comes to injuries and really with pitching, a closer and a starter. What are the similarities you're seeing between the arm injuries that Felix Bautista and Kyle Bradish suffered?
Well, I can't discuss specifically anything about their unique histories. That's illegal. I can talk in general, which is helpful. The ulnar collateral or Tommy John ligament connects your humerus to your forearm, or your arm to your forearm, as I just said. It's about a strap, like a little piece of leather that's about half the size of your thumb. And it undergoes enormous stress when you leverage it to throw things at 90 plus miles an hour. And it's protected by the muscles of your forearm. Way back in 1974, Tommy John tore his, and it looked like his career was over. And the great Dr. Frank Jobe proposed to him trying a new operation where we call it harvest, but you remove a tendon from another part of your body where you can spare it, and you literally weave it into the humerus bone and the ulna bone to recreate the ligament as a check rein. And in order to do that, number one, you usually have to move what's called the ulnar nerve out of the way, and you have to move some of your forearm muscles to see things. So needless to say, to heal that, your body has to incorporate the ligament, the nerve has to quiet down, and the muscles have to heal. Dr. Jobe gave many lectures that some of us have heard. And in fact, Tommy John's arm was numb for a year after the surgery before he actually came back. And usually when players come back, it's a long rehab to let everything mend. And then the players have to kind of get used to the fact their elbow feels a little different. Usually the first year, there's a little loss of velocity, and pitchers will talk about getting the feel back in their hands, and maybe Mike can talk about that. But the great pitchers have incredible feel in their fingers to make the ball spin. And usually they'll tell you the first year they were kind of fine-tuning that, and then second year they've got their feel back. But sometimes they do permanently lose some velocity, and not all pitchers come back from it. I mean, I think the orthopedic doctors have convinced everybody this is like changing tires, but it's not. Not all pitchers come back to the same level. It's still a complex operation. And as I said, I think to Mike earlier, if you look at Syndergaard from the Mets, who threw 99 and basically was a one-pitch pitcher, he lost 4 or 5 miles an hour and wasn't quite as effective. If you look at Bueller, he only lost 1 or 2 miles per hour. He added a cutter to his variety, and he's quite effective. So the first year, it's getting your velocity and feel back, and then you go as hard as you can. And in terms of our pitchers, it's different mainly because as a closer, Felix has no margin for error. He doesn't have the luxury of walking a few guys as he tries to see how his ball is moving at any given time. And as Michael say, sometimes the pitchers will tell you what they do in the bullpen doesn't correspond to what they do on the mound. So Felix, Mike Elias, and Brandon have done a fantastic job of making sure the players have a full amount of time to rehab. They haven't rushed them back. We've always had the best training staff with Richie Bancells, Brian Ebel, Mark Shires, Pat Wesley. We now have a newer person, but Mr. Barringer. We have Scott down in spring training, and Mike has done a great job at the mental side. We have a lot of performance experts to help get you in the right frame of mind. But I think Felix, in addition to possibly adapting to throwing maybe 97 or 96 instead of 99, may have to improve perhaps the secondary pitches. But I think mentally, he has to get convinced he can throw strikes whenever he has to. And I think that's a group effort. And yet, I'd appreciate Mike's opinion, but I would think he may have to do a few outings in the minors to be convinced he knows he can throw strikes when he has to. Bradish already throws 3 or 4 pitches. He peaks out around 94 and a half. He has the luxury as a starter of seeing which pitches work. He has the luxury of walking a few guys. He can give up a few runs in a 5-6 inning stint. So I think he doesn't really have the mental pressure, and he'll just focus. To me, his real out pitch is that hard breaking slider, which really goes down and away. And even though Fangraph says he only uses about 30% of the time, I thought at the end of the season in the playoffs, he was throwing it a lot more. And it's going to take him a while, I think, to get that aggressive late movement you need on his slider. So I think that'll be his challenge in the first half of the year because that's his out pitch. And so I think it'll take some time to regain that tremendous down and away late movement he had.
How often do these guys like Bradish and Batista get reevaluated? Do they ever go back in and get an X-ray? Do they get an MRI? Or do they just wait for residual pain?
Again, I've always used the top doctors. I did Tommy John surgeries, but when I had them on our ball players, I didn't feel I did enough to justify that. So I used Jim Andrews and Lou Yoakum. Keith Meister and Elatrash are kind of the two elite people out there. They both went to Meister. Our physicians, Chris Lewis, Sean Curtin, are outstanding, top-notch doctors. The communication is constant. They go back and forth. And once they get cleared to pitch, though, they're going unless they have a problem. Now, most of these guys will have some tendonitis through the year as they regain their innings. And depending on the severity, we do whatever has to be done. But once they're cleared to go, they go.
One question, the last question I have for you, Doc, is they're saying that Kyle Bradish can only play catch on flat ground at this time. What does that mean? What inhibits him by not doing that?
Just like we all are different, every elbow is different. Elite physicians, every operation's unique. He will cater his rehab to what was in Kyle Bradish's elbow, communicate it to us, and it's an intensive day-to-day reevaluation, and every timeline is different. There's nothing good or bad about it. That's just one of the progression steps, and that's where he is right now. But each operation is unique. These are not cookie-cutter operations. Somehow they become so common, I think we've lost a little appreciation of how complicated these operations are. And I like to say, nothing's as good as the God-given ligament you're born with. That is a unique product. I do chuckle when people come back and say, oh, you're better than you ever were. No, nothing is better than that God-given ligament you are born with. That's a work of art.
Yeah, amen.
Just like Mike Bordick is a work of art. Okay?
One of these days, we'll talk about the surplus of Tommy John surgeries. Dr. Michael Jacobs, brought to you by the Baltimore Chamber Orchestra. Look forward to many more episodes to come, and also a lot more on our YouTube pages where you can find the doc as well. Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, Doc.
We want to thank our new and old sponsors. Many have been with this Bordy since the jump start, including Effective Solutions, which redid my home studio. Shout out to Eric Brady. It looks great. Love the sky blue behind me.
At Pappas Restaurants, we've been serving up Maryland's best crab cakes for over 5 decades, and now we make it easier than ever to get your favorites. With 4 restaurants and sports bar locations across Harford County, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County, you can stop in for fresh seafood, ice-cold drinks, and wall-to-wall TVs. But if you can't make it in, don't worry. We'll bring Pappas to you. Our new state-of-the-art shipping and commissary location on Bel Air Road in Nottingham means you can pick up fresh-made meals or have our famous crab cakes and seafood shipped anywhere in the country. Dine in, pick up, or ship nationwide. However you Pappas, we've got you covered. Order now at pappascrabcakes.com. The Bmore Baseball podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week. Only at Relief Shop. It's saving season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas for spring and summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone, exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time.
Love the culture of Charm City? The Baltimore Chamber Orchestra, not the symphony, is performing 2 extraordinary concerts at Goucher College on Sunday, March 9th and Sunday, May 11th. Picture it. The strings strike the first chord like a leadoff hitter, setting the concert's tone, followed by colorful winds, powerful brass, and explosive percussion, like a crowd roaring to their feet during a home run. Discover Baltimore's second orchestra and experience the unforgettable magic of classically captivating live music. Get your tickets now at thebco.org.
Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. At Heller Coates, we ensure peace of mind. Our mission, to educate, design, and protect, ensuring that you get the right insurance at the right price. Whether it's home and auto, life, disability, long-term care, or employee benefits, our deep understanding of personal and business life cycles allows us to tailor solutions just for you. We specialize in strategic insurance planning for those who value protection. Ready to take the next step? Get in touch for no obligation 360 policy review at insurance@hellercoates.com.
Also, thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin. He's back for another season, folks. We call it extortion around here. Until next time, be real, be kind, and make sure to be back next week for another episode of the Bmore Baseball Podcast.
Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.